first day of just organizing what it is we were going to do, from the conversation to the idea, and just enough of the outline of what our partnership or collaboration would be for this workshop. Once we had that up, we had a registration page, then we were getting people interested right away who were registering and signing up. It's definitely something that I felt the pressure because people are already signing up and I'm still in the process of creating the workshop. But this is the comfort zone in terms of being able to try new things and turn it around really quickly, that as a micro influencer, we just have to practice and get comfortable being in that area of, it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. People still have a lot of value that they get derived from it. And I think there's also authenticity when you don't overthink it or overwork it. We can be really authentic about why we're here, what we're trying. And I also let everybody know this is our beta. It's our first one. And people love getting in on things because it's like, oh, I was there in the very first one. That has some excitement to it too. So embrace it. I definitely did. It helps me feel more comfortable. Things, live events and workshops, there's always going to be bumps along the way. So nothing's ever perfect anyways. And I think if you can make something special for the people who take the time to be there with you, why not? So I'm going to now go through what I did on, after the first day. I was just exhausted because we had this idea, the whirlwind, we put it all together, we got the invite up, people started registering. I had a rough outline, which was designed based on the prompt that I gave Gemini. And now I needed to actually make sure that we could do it on SkillVill. So I could host the hybrid part, go above and beyond the in-person event so that we could help more people. We could do something that lives on even when I'm not there, or if they can't make it at that set time. So helping more people access it whenever is good for them, and empowering the workshop participants to really own the tools and feel comfortable using them and being able to open up these doors for themselves along the way. So this is how I did it. First, you're going to see here the setup of the circle. So in the black, I already had a circle set up. So I'm not going to go through setting up the circle itself, but I definitely wanted to show, here is on the left, the outline of the workshop. So I know, okay, this is my overall goal. Now let's go on the timeline. And the timeline is broken into very specific things. There are tasks or questions or shared resources. So I went through here, and whenever there were questions, then I would enter it into SkillVill. So I could assign this live during the event and make it very engaging and interactive. There also was just some things I thought, the outline that they gave didn't really add flavor or inspiration along the way. So I wanted to add a video or something we could play, we could listen to together. Also to break it up so it's not just me talking the whole time. To make sure that people stay focused and excited about what it is that we're doing together. But went through and really looked at this as okay, how can I really now see myself leading the workshop and thinking about it specifically for the SkillVill platform. So this is what I created, and you can see it live in action. I've got a recording of the workshop itself, but what I did behind the scenes and ahead of time is I created these packets. One packet was monetizing your magic. So this was workshop in progress. And so what that means is I would take this set of questions or whatever, and live when we're in the event, I would assign it to everybody. So it appeared on their board, these tasks or these questions appeared right then. This is something that I just thought would bring a little more fun engagement, because it's nice when things are live and feel live. Again, for people who took the time to be there with us, that's great. But it's still there later Chapter. If people want to come on their own, they can still access it. But for people who come live, that's kind of like a fun element of feeling like you're right there, as I was maybe handing out that worksheet or that workbook in person. Here, I'm doing it digitally on SkillVill. And so I'm going to open up one of the packets so you can see how it translates. So let me grab this one. So this is what I created. I created a task. And of course, after the event, I was able to put the recording there so I could live on without me. So we'll ignore the recording for just this moment. And, you know, here, start with just an introduction, something really simple, easy for people to do. And they can now go into, and there is a resource on what we were going to watch after we made our introductions. There also is, okay, the next step after we do that, like, let's brainstorm some things together and let's create a game plan. So we're actually right now in the packet seeing the outline of the workshop. So some people have used slides in the past. These are my slides, and these are my slides, which later I could put the recording of me actually doing it in person with the group, so people who weren't able to attend live get this feeling of like, oh, they just did that with us the last 5 minutes. So I'm really excited about being able to see this live on. Yes, I spent a lot of time getting this ready in terms of thinking about, you know, breaking it up and putting it in. It might be faster and easier to just create a document and a deck because that's what we're used to, but that doesn't live on. So one of the big things that I love about SkillVill and these tools that you need to take advantage of is be able to put your content into bite-sized pieces so that people can break it up. So whatever's good for them, if they're live with a workshop, they're going to go through the whole thing together. If they're not, they can do it in small increments and feel really successful. That sense of accomplishment that they've gotten things done. So by creating each of these into little steps, I know that these are resources and tasks that are going to appear here, that as they go through and they do it together, they can feel like, oh, I did that. Even if I have to stop in the next 10 minutes, I could do one more section. So I think that's really a different way of doing a workshop. Is you're not just doing it for that moment and following your own outline on an old-fashioned sheet of paper, and you're not just doing it for that audience there. You're doing this for the audience at home. And so you really want to be conscious about talking to the audience, asking the audience for feedback, because this is how they're not just sitting there in the audience. They become part of the actual experience and an active part. So this is what it looks like. So I created it on one end, I copied and pasted, I put in some things that I thought were really cool, and then I guided us through. So it started with my 5 minutes early. So you can watch if you want to log in yourself and take a look of what I did. So I'm going to skip all that, but I wanted to share with you more about the thought process behind it. Here I am live. Feel free, take a look. But this is how, you know, I was able to build my workshop instead of slides, create these components that I know can live on, that are more interesting and fun, gets people in the workshop really doing it. And then as they complete it, now there's this interactivity that wouldn't otherwise have been there if I just gave them a deck. Now I could say, okay, I moved that to working and now I'm done. And it's clear. And so now each participant can go through. And why is this really cool is that I can see who's completing what, how far are people going, where are people possibly getting stuck. This is our first one, so I need to know these little hidden ways of seeing eyes on the wall of how people are engaging with it, because I'm not there in person to see. I'm not in the same room and I'm not there all the time. So let the platform help inform me and give me these feedback loops. And that's what's really, really cool is when you start thinking about, okay, you're not just helping people live, you're not just helping people in person, now you're able to think about, okay, how can it help someone tomorrow or whenever's good for them? Now I'm really adding a huge value and service to the offerings and increasing the number of people who could participate. And hopefully the ripple effect of what we're doing will just continue to grow and grow and grow. And that is super exciting for us, and it's already working. So we're excited to share that. So I'm going to go through and close some of these up. I did want to show that when I created that task, see how it blows it up. It makes it really easy for everybody to see what it is that I'm talking about. But these become your step-by-step what you're going to go through in the workshop. So it was really easy for me to lead the workshop right here and to be able to then say, okay, now that we've done this task, let's clear it out of the way, and everybody did it. And then you could go in and answer our questions. And so these were all the questions. As you can see here, there's certain questions that it says, hey, on this, after we talk about this idea or after we watch this video together, here's the questions I want to ask. And so I was able to have those questions ready, and then everybody can submit their answers. And what's very, very cool is along the way, we have the discussion area. So I'm encouraging people, tell me what you think. What do you need? What was really exciting is that because we structured it this way, we got a lot of interest and a lot of feedbacks from groups that maybe wouldn't otherwise have been able to join in. And again, this was all in less than a week. So this is the power of using some different types of tools and technology. And what's awesome is that the packet that I chose for everybody's profile. So I created a profile for everyone who's a participant. And the packets that I chose was that all the answers from all the questions from the evening, kind of like their workbook, would show up here. So we can see each other's answers. We could connect with other people, learn about who they are, what their missions are. And so this is really cool because as we answered things, they auto-populated here. So that is something very unique to SkillVill that we love, because now I'm getting user-generated content. And that is like the holy grail of marketing and content as a brand influencer, because now you're getting a piece of content which was not created by you. It might have been organized by you, orchestrated by you, but it wasn't created by you. Each individual has their own thoughts in there, their own shares. And here I'm not using it to market publicly. I'm using it to help in the workshop. All of us feel like we get to know each other, and all of us feel like, oh, I can network with this person later. Or even if I wasn't there live when they were live, I could still maybe support each other, which goes into the networking part of the event. So thinking about profiles as a networking tool and as a learning tool is really cool, because now profiles aren't just for like telling everybody, hey, look at me, look what I did, which is one way you can use user-generated content. But here it's really cool. It's meant to help us all, give us a place to connect, engage, share our ideas, and do it in a way that doesn't have to all happen at the same time, or we all have to get on the call together. So, I mean, it's amazing. Every time I log in, there's more people joining the circle. So it's exciting. It's definitely something I had so much fun doing. You are welcome to log on and take a look. You can go through all the steps. You can do the workshop yourself. And now that I've updated everything, you can also watch me do it live. So in the next videos, I'm going to show you how I was able to capture and recycle the content from the event and put it into places like this so it could live on and continue to help people, so I don't have to be there 24/7 doing it. And of course, it also is something that could attract and bring more people in on its own. Those people in the allies section are proof it's working. Zero marketing dollars on this. So I'm very excited to share these tools and how you can use them very intelligent ways, clever ways, fun ways, and create an amazing experience. So look forward to seeing you in the next video and showing you how I recycled that content.